How's it going, everybody? Just like the title, another story time with Afik. It's everybody's favorite time, and hope everyone is able to learn a thing or two from this story of mine. Not really much of a very adventurous story, but something that has been, you could say, my compass. Something that whenever tough times do come to be, especially physically, I always look back at this as such a fun memory. I feel like an old man. When I was a little kid, my mom brought me to Taekwondo. She loves Taekwondo, and she stopped early, so she thought that I could continue on as well. When I was a kid, I'm a very lazy guy. I was very lazy, so when I joined Taekwondo, it felt like I was doing it just because I was signed up for it. I was registered for it, and every time when I come into session, it just feels like, man, I'm just gonna come here for pain. You know, I was gonna come here for pain and stuff, and I just, you could say, just running the motions without even really thinking about what's really going on. And the same thing with my mom. I stopped quite early, but the thing is that I guess the difference between my mom, I've completed my yellow belt. My mom only stopped at yellow belt, but I was supposed to get my other belt. I don't know what color am I supposed to get after yellow, but I've already completed my yellow belt. Then, I guess you could say a moment happened. A moment happened during at school. Someone tried to get physical, but surprisingly, I didn't get afraid. I didn't get afraid, and my legs was, you could say, it felt right. And I didn't kick him. I didn't kick him at all. And it's the typical push. When they try to push you over. Sorry, but try to push you over, and instead of me falling down, it's as if like we just it's as if we just got like a he pushed, it didn't really work, and he's like he's not really stable himself. I guess I have like a weak opponent. Like, I guess if this was Genshin, I guess I just stumbled upon a Hurchul, a level 1 at that. And at that moment, I think even he realized as well that, I think I barked on the wrong tree, and he didn't even fight me. All he did is just like mumbled. He's like, like, don't make me come back at you one more time, or you're gonna get the big guns. And I'm like, oh sure, man. I mean, I didn't know. I don't remember what I said, but I remember that kid. That kid, he tried to pose as this big threat, and the moment he pushed me, and nothing happens because I had good balance, the man just walked off. I mean, he of course he said he said what he had to say, but then he just walks off. And I found it to be so funny. Uh, Now I know it's very typical. I beat five people, but with closing my eyes. Even though I do have those moments where like a fight happened and you just gotta fight. But surprisingly enough, I don't look back at those moments. Because for me, those moments are something that, in a way, it's sad that it happens. Not to act all Thorfinn like, but like, we this didn't happen. This shouldn't happen like this. Like, we didn't have to punch each other. I didn't have to hurt you, nor you had to pose any harm with me as well. But why? In my head, I feel like, why did it have to be like this, right? But what stick by me the most was the thing that I told you. It's where this guy tried to push me, and I didn't tumble. I waved, and he waved as well. Like, it is I guess you could say it's like a form of Tai Chi. Even though I didn't learn Tai Chi, but in a way, like, I'm good enough where, like, this man, no matter like he tries to play me aggressively or not, it wasn't that effective. Granted, this was during middle school, right? But I still remember that at that moment when he was trying to do something, for me, it's so adamant, because when you think about it, it's like, oh, my master and like my sparring opponents was way more elegant, was way more artistic, was way more powerful than what this man is trying to do to me right now. And as a matter of fact, whatever he's trying to do, I feel like it's gonna be much more of a detriment to him instead of me, because what the heck is he doing? So, uh, when that happened, it made me realize that, man, imagine if someone that's just like, that didn't know what to do, and uh, just react to what's going on. I just, sorry about that. I just feel like at that moment, maybe it might instill you fear, or it just makes you much more scared and everything. Now, I guess you could say this talk is about, oh, go learn martial arts and everything, and be strong. And although that may be the case, I want everyone to realize that, you're more than what you think. You're more than what you think, and you're stronger than what you perceive yourself to be, right? Because get this, in this world, as much as we all know that stealing is bad, this is bad, right? There will come a time where you just don't know what led up to that, but they still do it anyways, right? So I really, I really feel so sad when I know this thing. Okay, for example, during Ramadan, there's this one crazy guy that's dual wielding two slippers. I want everyone to write um, prayer slipper. I dare you to write that. I bet the first thing you'll see is this weird, maybe drunk Malaysian dude dual wielding two slippers. He's trying to channel his inner Kirito and smack the living hell out of the Imam. And if you wanna know what Imam is, it's the one that leads the prayer, and I guess you could say it's the leader of the one that's doing the prayer at that time. Um, I don't think I have to go to the nitty gritty on that one. And the thing is, it's a good thing that he would, like, the Imam had like ultra instinct at that moment. And he saw like the tip of the slipper and managed to dodge and weave. Maybe give him a smack right at it. He's a pacifist. Like, mad respects. I have no enemies. My mentality, but again, like, for me, I just, like, sometimes I think to myself, if that were me, would I be able to dodge that? And let's just say if he imposed much more aggressive than he did in the video, what would I do? And for that, this is why I want to say that, because again, you'd think that the mosque would be a place where everyone would be much more tranquil. They try to find peace within themselves. But this video, says the opposite. This man wants to find violence and impose his will and try to beat the living hell, whatever that comes, to him. So, the man's the living incarnate of destruction. So that's kind of dangerous. So I don't know. I just want everyone to learn just a little bit of the basics. You don't really have to, aspire yourself to be the grandmaster, like Master Ugur or something like that. It didn't have to be like that. You don't have to mark yourself as, oh man, if I'm gonna be in this road, I guess I have to be Bruce Lee. That's not the case. What any of you have to do is just realize that this world is very unpredictable. And I always get like this American reasoning, yeah, but you can't stop a gun. Okay, right, and that's very correct, but let's just say in a very public space, right, where the possibility of you having a gun is very low, right, and the only armed weapon that he has is probably a bat or a knife or anything. That's still dangerous and everything, but because you know taekwondo, you're at the very least are able to keep distance, right? Maybe you might get hurt, but you wouldn't die. That's the thing. You get it. So I just, this is just what I want to say. Now, I bet some people say, oh, this is a PSA video, I can't believe this. I guess, but do know that this is what I've always loved doing. I think if anyone were to check out my old videos and stuff, they would know that I've always been like a big advocate for martial arts and everything, because I just find it to not only be a sport that's very healthy, it's something that channels your fears and probably your anger as well. The thing is, right, people may think that that the people who learns martial arts is violent people, but then again, I read Vagabond, very great manga, by the way, very amazing. I recommend everyone reading. The main character, as he goes along in life, right, the things that he said has a lot of correlation to martial arts. Now, I'm not going to get into detail to what it means, but I'm just saying that whatever he said within the Vagabond manga, I'm telling you, now that is what it means to be a martial artist. And I guess, without getting too much away, you'll go through life. Let's just say, oh, I'm a martial artist, and I can beat anyone else. The thing is, right, if you live with that mindset, I'm telling you, life is gonna bring you really, really down. Because believe it or not, everyone here, is a walking learning student, with constantly humbled with whatever is going on in life. You may think you know it all, but let's just be honest, you don't, right? You know, there's more bigger fish in the in this bottomless sea, and you know, it takes one to know one, you know. and it takes a wise it takes a wise practitioner to know, oh, there's way more to go. And it's not to say that I'm wise. Again, I'm a learning man. So yeah, I think I'll leave off with this one Shaolin guy. I forgot his name, but the guy said, when you learn martial arts, two things you need to remember: demon hand, Buddha heart. Right? What does that mean? Because again, the idea of martial arts is very like dangerous and everything, right? True. But then at the same time, if you were to really discipline yourself and truly understand why martial arts is practiced to begin with, you will eventually find that like Buddhist like thinking within your heart. And at that moment, it's not about instilling violence to people. It's about, you know, it's because you care. You practice martial arts. I don't know if that makes sense. Okay, I think I've now mumbled too long. Sorry, I thought I'd make a 5-minute video. I guess this is just times two. Typical me. That's it for me. Watch more anime, practice martial arts, and see you later.